God bless everyone. I hope everybody's doing good. Welcome back to Proverbial Insights. And today we're doing chapter 22 of the book of Proverbs. And the verse that really called my attention was the lazy man says, "There is a lion outside, I shall be slain in the streets." And for me, what this referred me to was when we say no to God's calling, because it's easier to just stay inside. It's easier to say no when God is calling us and tugging at our hearts to accept him. Okay, to accept him in our lives, to change our lives. When we accept Christ, we deny ourselves to our own will, to our own pleasures, to our own desires. And that takes more courage and that takes more strength to do than it is just to live without Christ. Okay, this world has so many things that are attractive, that are trendy and that are easier to do because sin is so enticing and sin is so deceiving, but sin at the end of the day is still sin, and the result of it is death. Okay, is hopelessness and despair, and you're left there is just you commit the sin and then you're left there just being ridiculed, and you're in complete sorrow and in loneliness. And in God, when you're with God, God is always with you. When you're doing his will, when you're denying yourself every day, when you're carrying your cross every day, when you're following God and always seeking his will, it takes more courage to do that. When I came to Christ, one of the biggest things, the biggest chains that God had to break was me with alcohol, right? Alcoholism was something that I was drinking daily. It was a lot. And that was something that was going to be hard for me to be able to break, and not break, but a habit to break, but it was to stay, um, for it to be a permanent change in my life. And that's what God does in our lives. And although, alcohol didn't disappear from my surroundings, but God gave me the strength to stand firm in my belief, in my faith, in the confession that I had made. And God broke those chains and broke them permanently. And I have been able to stand strong in that. So, and to be able to say no when it's still in my surroundings, it takes more strength to do that than it does just to go along with the world, to go along with these desires, go along with our own desires. So, and it's harder, right, to be able to do God's will because you deny yourself, because the battles that you fight and the challenges that you have to confront, you're not battling them with your own the way you want to resolve them. Now it's God's will. So you have to wait on God. You have to trust God. You have to a lot of times just keep your mouth quiet. That was another thing that God had to help me with, and really self-control was something that I needed help with because it was hard for me to keep quiet. And that is something that God has helped me with. And I see the change. And not only at the moment, but God has continued to work with me on that. And man, I've seen such a huge change in my life. But that's because I have denied myself every day and to be able to accept God's will in my life and not my own. And how beautiful it is as children of God for us to carry God every day and with everything that we do, for us to be the light in this world, a change in this world, to be contrary to this world, not conforming to this world, but renewing our minds every day in God. So, in so much hate that's in this world, to be able to put love, and so much pride that just abounds in this world, to be able to show humility, in so much chaos to be able to bring peace, in so much noise to be able to bring quiet, in so much selfishness to be able to have compassion in the slightest things. I mean, in the smallest things. Sometimes I'm driving and road rage is something that I think we all suffer from, but we have to realize that it's not worth it. It's not worth you ending up in a whole battle and fight with someone on the street when you don't know what that person is going through, when you yourself are going through so much, and you're going to end up adding more onto whatever the situation that you're in. There's so much lack in this world of love, of peace, financially. people are grieving, and there's so much going on that you, instead of that, you are able as a child of God to be able to put love and compassion first before yourself. If somebody cuts you off, pray for them. And don't sit there and try to insist and honk the horn and do all of this stuff, because at the end of the day, you don't know what that person is going through, and just think about that. That person's probably having the most horrible day in their life, and you don't need to add on to that. Okay. So this is the part where I say, like, that it's harder for you to go contrary to what is the norm in this world than what it is to follow Christ. So don't keep saying no to God. Don't keep saying, God, no, I'm safer here. I rather not. Don't. Because if you consider yourself to be courageous, if you consider yourself to be brave, then step in faith and accept God in your life. And then you will know what true courage is and true bravery is, because you're going contrary to everything that's conforming to this world. Okay. All right. God bless everybody. We'll see you next week for chapter 23. God bless you.